save your kind from an ancient evil. My power burns within Excalibur.
What's going on, guys? Kyger here, back with King Arthur's Legends Rise. I'm joined by a buddy of the channel for a long time, Dylarr's Tactics. What's going on, guy?
Oh, it's good. Just preparing to bail for a week, so the community will have to do without me.
Now, we've played several games together, and the last game we played, you kind of swore off mobile games. What brought you back here?
Do you want the real answer or the fake answer?
Whatever you want the audience to know.
Well, I'm pretty much an open book. So I quit last March. So I went till March till 1st of December. So almost a year. And I hadn't really spent. I'd always been playing some mobile games on the side just for, sheets and giggles, not really being too, hardcore about it. And the reason why I got back into content creation is funny. So for this game, King Arthur Legends Rise, when I started playing it, just the pre-launch for fun, and then I saw that they had a content creator program, and I sent them just some dumb stuff. Like, you're supposed to send these like a video submission, and I just sent them something random, and then all of a sudden I got a message from another one of the content creators like, congratulations on getting in the program. I'm like, did I? Like, there was no email sent, nothing. I had to go onto their website and see, and then once I saw that I actually got in, I was like, well, now I have to. So I kind of twisted my arm into doing it.
I remember this story, and there was a slight difference in there that I thought was hilarious from the initial telling. Was you said you were on the guild Discord, and then Ivy, Susie, just says, "Hey, Dylarr needs the role."
Yes, that's.
And you're like, "Wait,
like, why?
What
Why?
role?"
Yeah, I hadn't made a video in almost a year, and all of a sudden, why? I'm just playing the game. I don't need a content creator role. And then when I looked at the program and I saw what it was, I'm like, okay, let's give this another shot. So.
All right, so we have a bit of an interesting video here, and it's really two topics in one. And they're really both connected. One, I started the game 8 days ago. Put a bunch of money in it, was getting pretty far. Some of the big stopping points was this banner system where after the character comes and goes, you have to wait for them to come back. Now we know, after this most recent update, that roughly 6 weeks they get added to the regular pool. That's a great system. I like it. But there were just a lot of characters that I didn't have, couldn't get. And then some of the main things I had to grind for. I would have to grind for a while. And then, as I said, me and Dylarr have played several games together. I wanted to join his group. So I asked, hey, I want to go there. I'm kind of weak, but I'm dedicated. I want to do better. And then the big guy in charge says, hey, we have someone that's retiring from the game. Talk to him, and maybe you could play that account. That's the account I'm on right now. The account was given to me, and then I paid it forward as well. The account that I had that had a bunch of money and stuff on it, I gave to someone else as well. But we're going to do two things in this video. One, Dylarr is going to talk to me about what we have on this account, what I should be working on, things like that, as well as why someone would quit this game, what's holding it back, what we like about it, what we dislike about it. Where do you want to start?
First of all, let's start with the game itself, like the overall general, why would someone quit, what keeps people in the game, and that can kind of set us up for the rest.
So, what brought you in? What did you see about the game that made you want to play it?
So, like you know, you and me have been through a bunch of games, and we've tried a bunch of different kind of turn-based games. They're all kind of the same. Like, what was the like cyberpunk one that we played for a month before we dropped it?
Cyber Revolution.
Cyber Revolution. Like, so if the aesthetic of the game suits my preferences, it'll get me at first. Then it's up to the game and the game mechanics specifically to keep me around for longer than a month. Because like that game that we had played, the aesthetics, I loved the turn-based system. It was kind of similar to this, how they were pulling from a same pool of energy, but then their raid or their arena system was so horrible that and their getting new heroes was kind of bad, and they were missing a lot of stuff. I just was like, nah, I'm done with that game. Whereas this game, it's slow, it's niche, there's not a high player population, but it does enough things right that keeps me around.
Yeah. So for me, obviously I like the medieval stuff is really cool. I saw some videos talking about, hey, you can use these uncommon characters and stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be maybe one uncommon character that's okay, but really it ends up being half the roster is really good, and then even the blues, the rares, even some in-game teams use one or two rares on their teams. These are people with maxed out characters are still using one, sometimes two rares on their team, which you can literally get from whatever. Something that I initially it hit me was, did you ever play Raid?
Very briefly.
Okay.
That game just seemed too much. I played it for like a month here, month there, but not for many, many years.
So this is exactly the same game. But with every quality of life feature the players have asked for on Raid, as well as ones they've even haven't asked for yet. Like, the only real difference is Raid has cooldowns, this has an energy system.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is the same. The fighting, the boss mechanics, not every boss mechanic or whatnot, but how they work. Just how the upgrading, all this stuff is almost carbon copy. But the way they go about it is just enough different that I really like it, as well as all the quality of life stuff. Doing 3x battles. I mean, just go here, enter, repeat. These options are ridiculous. Right?
Yeah, no, they're nice.
And then even setting up your character's auto skills, how they perform their skills in the thing. Like, I want you to use this skill, but if for some reason you don't have enough or whatnot, use this skill. That is ridiculous. The big thing that this game has that Raid does not have is the day-night cycle, which is kind of cool. The leadership is the same as Raid. But like I said, it really comes down to the quality of life stuff. The characters, I really liked the story. We talked a little bit about that before we got in here. Main story is King Arthur's story. Him coming into own Caliburn, the dragon, and then adventure is going through the side stories of all those areas. I thought that was ridiculously cool. Now, what's the bad for the game?
So, if we would have done this video a month ago, I would have said the bad is there was zero end game. So that was an oversight at launch, is that they scaled the end game content so low that, like clan raid that's going on right now, we used to be able to clear it in 6 days and then have nothing to do, like literally nothing to do. Whereas now it's up to level 30, and there isn't a single guild or clan out there that's going to beat level 30. Like, you get to level 30, the health pools are so high, the bosses do so much damage. You can chip away at them, but it's going to take endgame guilds a little while till that content's irrelevant. And at least now, like, we can play right till the end of the season and have something to do each day. Forbidden Dungeon, a month ago, we only had the first 100 levels, and you could power through them in a week and then be done with Forbidden Dungeon. Now they've added Forbidden Dungeon hard mode. Nobody's cleared that. It is insanely difficult. You need huge, wide rosters. Like, I've tried. I'm stuck on level 17. I try it for about an hour a day, and then I'm just like, I want to play something else. But
is this the difficulty? The difficulty of the stages, or the requirements to get into the stages?
No, they are extremely gear intensive. So you have to have the right heroes, almost maxed. You have to have the right hero relics, almost maxed. And then you have to have your gear very, very fine tuned. Like, just a simple change of where I'm stuck on 17. I had one hero going before another hero, which it seemed to be working, but then I switched it so that hero was slower, and it made it easier. So now I'm getting closer and closer. So you really have to tinker and min-max and really figure out what works. And there's multiple ways to make that work. One way is to have a complete CC or keep the team locked down. But I've been slacking on my Frost Merlin. Can't do it. My S3 isn't maxed. So I just like that it's challenging content. So again, if you would, what's lacking in the game, well, those aren't. So now what's lacking in the game is this PvP clan mode, and they botched that. They absolutely botched that, and it's got a lot of people pissed off. So that's right now is the worst area of the game. It could be good, but they didn't put a lot of thought into the practical application of it, and now it's got everybody up in arms.
Yeah, so this is a easy oversight. I can see them being worried about people leaving and joining guilds during the battle, and one guy, we're in Celestials. They have like at least 8 different clans. You could have 2 ringers go through all of our guilds and then just destroy the entire enemy team, right? Yeah. That's obviously something they want to stop, but I think most games at this point know that's an issue, so they don't allow it. And 2, I mean, there's 2 easy ways to really stop this from happening. Either allow changing only during cooldown days, or say you can't attack for a day or whatnot. So that, I mean, you can change during the war, but you can't help in the war.
So they already have it set up that this could be an easy fix. So you see at the top of the screen that everyone's locked in by season. So January 22nd to February 19th.
Mm-hmm.
A season is, 3 weeks of fighting or 2 weeks of fighting? After Saturday, after I think it's Sunday, there's 2 defense days. Yeah, so you get your first week is an application week. Everyone signs up. Then you got your attack week. Then you got another attack week. And then you got your finalization week. So yeah, 4 weeks in a season. So what they could do is after the first attack week, there's 2 days. They have it marked as a 2-day window to set your defense versus the 1 day every other between battles. You can make an application day, that 1 day after each week, where people can move in and out members. That way, at least once a week, you can have full free movement. That shouldn't affect rankings very much. That shouldn't really affect, you shouldn't be able to exploit because you're still locked in for that week of attacks. That's one area that they can solve a lot of problems that way. The other one is the no defenses. So right now, my guild, who is in Clan Raid ranked 3rd in the world, we're ranked 177th in Clan War because we haven't found a guild to fight against. It's all been 0 defense boards, so we can't get any points.
Nothing to attack, yeah.
Nothing to attack.
Either it could be easily populated with bots, which I think I know Marvel Strike Force does this. Some other ones do this, where every enemy location is innately filled with very low-powered bots, and then it's up to the player to go in and put in their units to obviously increase the defenses. Which
easy fix.
Yeah,
because you see the rewards, since it's the season rewards are good alone. Like if you click on the rewards and info on Clan War.
Well, I thought you were about to talk about this.
Oh no, that sucks too. But that's not the big good stuff. Like that's just minor little side good stuff. But the rewards, no, click on the button beside that one. So hit season rewards. So now, my guild, which is full of whales and stuff, just because of the game mechanics and the oversights in development, we have no shot to try to get rank rewards. And now, the league rewards, which takes 3 months, we're going to be out of the running there. So click on league rewards at the top too. Those are selectors. We have no shot now. So even if you spend $1 million in this game, due to the fact that they can't auto-populate a defense board, my guild has no shot to get ranked awards.
And it's really like, at least rank 1, it really is kind of like 2 selectors, right? Because of the memory stone. And then even the shop is pretty good, right?
Shop is good, yes. So you're just limited everywhere, and I don't know if they thought everybody that plays, because maybe they thought since you have to sign up, well, guilds that don't want to play won't sign up. Well, that's not the case.
Now, how about the actual combat? Is there bonus effects on the board? Is it all like always like I don't know, windy night? Is it different?
Oh, yeah, it's different. So if you go into the Clan War board, like I'm not sure if you want to show your defensive board, that's up to you. So each foothold does have a weather effect.
I see,
but that's not the main thing. You see how the Warhorse stable to the left, one of them is upgraded and one of them isn't.
Yes.
So if you click on the upgraded one, you can see that, and it costs resources, so you have to have people willing to give up their resources, but you see that one is upgraded to 4, so it's giving the whole defense teams 32 speed. So that's kind of why, if you're in that kind of defensive foothold, you want to set like a Serpent's team. If your Morgan's not super fast, well, now you have a free place. Hey, make sure if you guys are close to this speed threshold, go here. And it's the same with the evasion.
They all have their own individual. I see that. Yeah. So it seems like, just looking at it, it looks like a good mode actually, right? Like
if it was completely full, it might be fantastic, but not many people have gotten to experience a full war yet.
That's interesting. So it looks like a lot of the stuff they've been adding, and remember this game is 6-7 weeks old, something like that. Close to 2 months, and they've still added a bunch of stuff. So they gave you more in-game stuff, they gave you more PvP. They're rapidly adding a bunch of stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, so this is the first game I've played where even in the official Discord, there's no official community managers. Like there is literally no one point of contact that you can go through, even the CCs, to reach the company itself. The only mode of communication we have is on the forum in suggestions or bug reports, but to their credit, they've been really quick to address major problems. Like one of the major problems was the clan login. It used to be you had to have 25 for 25 members log in, otherwise you missed out on the good rewards.
Now it's 20.
Now it's 20. They were really quick to fix that, and they added stamina, because the next thing, the thing that I harped on so much in the first month of this game, was that free-to-play people couldn't even play the game because there was no way to get stamina. There was no easy stamina, and there was no easy access to crystals on a daily basis, so you couldn't really buy stamina with crystals either. Now you see they've added stamina to this reward. They've added more stamina to daily daily mission rewards, and they've added the purchasable stamina from the arena shop. So now
Yep.
stamina isn't really no longer an issue for a free-to-play player. I can get everything done on my end-game account with just the stamina generation in-game on a daily basis. Then I can go buy more with crystals to supplement if I want to do more. So they have been
all
really
of this stuff is
receptive.
easily 1,000 at least. I could see that being an initial issue because the daggers, which says Britain stamina, the stamina is kind of slow compared to other games. The base generation, I think it's 7 or 8 minutes, whereas something like Raid is 3 minutes. So that's off the rip half the stamina coming in.
It was a very big issue for the first month and a half of this game.
All right, so players see. Well, I think a big thing we should talk about is the banners.
Yeah, there's an issue there too.
So, all right. So, what is the primary way of getting these raid up summons in the game?
So they do they have weekly events that there's usually the top reward just for doing the events is you'll get some special rate up summoning tokens. But the vast bulk of them in a monthly basis is you have to buy the Knight's Pass, which is with crystals, but then I think it's called the Champion's Pass, which is money. That is the primary way that you can get. You don't get 120 in a month, but you can get, I think, because I don't buy my rate up summons. I don't do that. I think I can get about 40 to 45 per month. And then you got to supplement the rest of your pulls with crystals. So if I only buy the daily perks and that crystal generation, along with the crystal generation from events as well, gives me enough rate up summons and crystals to just keep up with getting the new hero rotation or new hero cadence.
Now, I said several times that this game is very similar to Raid. And something that I noticed here is the ticket system that is a bit different. With Raid, your general way of getting these is from doing harder and harder clan bosses. There's 5 difficulties of the clan boss. There's a daily payout. It gives you a random chest. The better you do, the better chance you get of getting the good stuff, which would be these better tickets. So it would be like if you do the lower ones, you get the normal and the elemental stuff. If you're in the medium tiers, you get the special summons. But if you're on what they call Ultra Nightmare, you'll have a chance of dropping these tickets. And it's a daily generation. They don't have an option of you just using the paid resource, so here crystals, to just do summons. And that adds some bonuses and some negatives, right?
You're saying you can't use crystals for summons?
Correct.
No,
in
you can
Raid.
use crystals for summons.
No, I'm saying
in
Raid.
Okay, in Raid. Gotcha, yeah.
I was saying the differences between the two. Because I think a lot of people that have played both will definitely see the one-to-one comparisons across the game between the two games. But let's say the issue, right? Are you talking about the 50-50?
Yeah, so like you're 20 away from pulling on her, and I've experienced this. I've pulled almost 200 summons and never gotten the banner hero. So that's how I missed out on Iwarit. And I was tapped out. I had nothing left, and I didn't want to spend anymore. So I just gave up, and I missed him, or missed her.
Now, when she initially came out, I liked her. I wanted her C1. Obviously, C3 is great, stuff like that. But I wanted at least a C1. And I pulled on the banner. I got 1 copy of her, but then I got 5 copies of this girl.
Well,
now, she's really good. I like her a lot, but wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories on this banner of someone has pulled nothing but Cloudus, and I feel really bad for them. Like there should be like the pity should be you get a copy of the hero. Given how hard it is to get these special rate up summons, the pity should be one copy. You can get the other ones along the way, but you should get a copy. Otherwise,
yeah, there's several ways of doing this. Some games, there's like a new game that's coming out, and their pity is 40 summons, and the first one is guaranteed the banner hero, but then you have no more guarantees after that ever.
I like that.
With other ones like some of the Hoyoverse games like Genshin Impact, stuff like that, their banner system would also work, which is there's also a 50-50, but if you fail the 50-50, the next one's guaranteed.
I would like that as well. That's better than this current system.
So
because you could be a massive spender. You could spend $500 on crystals and still never get the hero.
And then they end up being required in a bunch of stuff, right? So
well, then that pisses off your spenders. Then they're like, "Screw this! I'm going to go to another game." Like they're. I know that they're trying to incentivize pulling more, but at a point you're going to de-incentivize people from pulling at all.
The very interesting thing about this game that I think is a good and a negative is the relic system. Having three options. Which, obviously, if you look at it, I can see a light and a dark coming with those two spots.
Well, if you look at the intro cinematic as well, you see that Morgan's staff is glowing purple, not red, or green, or blue.
I definitely feel there's a light and dark that's going to happen.
Oh, I think it's been data mined. I think that has been confirmed. But don't quote me on that, but I've heard second-handedly that is confirmed. But
I like this system that it allows you to have some different things. A lot of them are generally pretty similar, but then you end up having some big differences, right? Like one of my favorite differences is where she at Isolde. Her frost weapon has a bunch of healing and slows, but if you go to her fire weapon, it's all about damage over time.
Well, you'll see though that those chills, they are still damage over time.
Yes, but the fire does a lot more. Slow. Yeah,
I thought it was 5%.
Yeah. No, not the amount of damage, but more of the skills. Like with the frost, the second skill is a heal for everyone. Fire, it's burn. It's more focused on this thing.
Yeah, generally across all the heroes, it feels like fire is more. Well, it's not perfect, but fire feels like it's more control focused. Wind feels like it's more PvP focused, and ice feels like it's more damage focused. But that's not true across the board. It's just generally that seems to be the case for the legendary heroes.
Yeah. I can see that. There's the level 1 aspect of it, allowing the characters to have the elemental advantage of whatever they're going into, as well as the level 2 aspect of it, allowing you to change certain abilities, right? One that's really cool to me is Rosier right here, where her frost or wind hit 2 times, but fire hits 5 times. So you can bring it against the pig.
Yeah, there's a couple heroes that are completely transformational, like Merlin. His fire and his frost are completely different. It changes him completely. Cormac is completely different. He's a damage monster. Frost. Sigrun hits way harder in her wind. Wind is for PvP, but that's specifically what it's for. Sergius, that's just a night and day difference. Fire.
I know you've been coming around a lot.
What's that?
I know you have been coming around a lot to Lot, L-O-T.
Oh, so yeah, Lot was a character I remember when the game first launched. Everyone hated pulling him because he did nothing. Now, he's just become such a must-have in Forbidden Dungeon because with all these these enemies that hit really hard, but you don't hit them as hard. If you brainwash them and make them hit each other, it's just fun to watch.
And you can't just get Lot, right? Because if you get Lot, he comes with his ice weapon.
Correct.
You need him in a different weapon.
Mm-hmm. And the fire, you can get a couple ways. So I think I got him from the shard store. Mm-hmm. But every season you have one shot to get a fire relic. And now from the Forbidden Dungeon level 97. That pool, as we get more heroes, though, it's going to be harder to get these
the one you're looking for
relics that we wanted. Like, that's how I got my Merlin Fire, was from just a free Forbidden Dungeon 97. Now we've got Ceres. Well, although Ceres Fire is good, but now we got all these extra ones added to the... Well, no, I shouldn't say that. They're not added to the pool, because they're not added to the pool until 6 weeks later. So
now,
but yeah, a lot is really nice.
Now we do also have... we just had the Ceres event dungeon, which had Lot's wind weapon. So you can do things from the seasonal events, which is also, like I said, a raid thing that's very similar. They literally just added the event dungeon recently in raid, and then almost immediately I see it over here.
Yeah, the event dungeon, at first, when it first came into the game, myself, as well as some other content creators, we kept saying it's a trap because you got to spend so much stamina into it. But it does, we know it's on a cadence. It's every second new banner. They have either the summoning, either have the summoning event or you have the dungeon event. And now, it looks like they're going to be placing in some of these more obscure, hard to get relics. And I kind of crunched the math. It was 2,200 stamina, I think, per relic to get it, farming level 9. But, now they have also, with this last patch, added another daily perk where they give you, where you get the 100 stamina packs. So you buy them all, you save up, you wait around for these events, and you go ham, and you get the relics. And Lot's Wind Relic is good, but it's not as good as Fire. It does the same thing, but opposite at higher costs. So Fire is better, but Wind will help people in Forbidden Dungeon. So I behoove anyone to try to get it. Well, I guess you can't now. The dungeon's gone. So sorry if you missed out. Better luck next time.
Now, we've been going kind of back and forth between the good and the bad of the game, right? So we've been generally saying, ending up saying a lot of good in this conversation, just naturally. Now, as we said at the top, this account was given to me. Why would someone quit the game when they see all these new things being added? They see the fixes, like you said, with the clan login system. They see new difficulties added a bunch, things like this. What would force someone to quit? Ignoring life stuff, whatnot.
The answer is kind of easy. So this game isn't Raid Shadow Legends or Star Wars Galaxy Heroes or Marvel Strike Force. They can't spend 8 to 12 hours a day in game tinkering, doing things, and progressing. This game, kind of like Eternal Evolution, the game I last covered, and the last one I played with you, it was a small population. It wasn't a whole lot of people playing that game, but the reasons why people like that game is it didn't require a whole lot of time. Some people liked it for the space aesthetic, but it wasn't Raid Shadow Legends. You couldn't spend all day playing the game or tinkering on the game. This game, I think it has enough, and if it doesn't fit your wants in a mobile game, then you're going to move on, or you're going to go back to Raid. I think a lot of people that started playing this game were hoping it was going to be Raid, and it's not. You can get everything done in an hour and 15 minutes at endgame, and that's just not enough for a lot of people.
But how much do people actually want? I think a lot of, at least the people that we generally talk to and interact with, are people in their late 20s, early 30s, early 40s that are, either have wife and kid like yourself, job, things like this, and how much time. There's got to be like a fine line, right? Like you're saying, hour and 15 isn't enough, but what if it was 3 hours? Would that be too much?
It would be. It'd be too much for a free to play or a very low spender. But I think that caters more towards the whales. You know, they want that. If they're going to spend money, they want to be able to use their toys. But you notice it's right around the 400,000 power mark. That's when people either stay or they quit. And I've noticed that since I started playing this game, a lot of people have come and just given it up right around there, because after you hit that point, it's a daily grind. You're not making huge progression. You know, like I said, there's only clan raid is only 2 battles a day if you're using all your tickets. Clan war is broken. Forbidden Dungeon is you get limited amount of tickets. So I just think that a game like this is a little too niche, and people get bored when they hit a certain wall, and then they leave. Which
it really comes down to what you're looking for in the game, right?
True.
So like if you are looking for, because a lot of the stuff that ends up having people check several times throughout the day for raid is content that has been added over the course of 5+ years. Whereas this game, being 2 months old, has, I want to say, about a third of the content available to it. If they continuously add more things like, they could easily add, I know you're not familiar with it because you don't play, but there's a thing called, our Clan Wars effectively Siege. What's the Doom Tower, which would be end up being our Forbidden Dungeon. They also have the main thing I'm thinking of is Cursed Town, and that's effectively a solo player guild war. Think about like how the guild war kind of setup is, and you're going through doing fights very similar to like its adventure mode.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the map. I've watched a couple of videos. I've seen the map of what it looks like. But the thing is, the developers don't have an excuse. This game's been in development for 2 years. Yeah. This should have been front-loaded at launch. It seems like, well, we have experience with some Netmarble games. I think this game is like minimal effort. Let's see how much cash we can get. Very low staff. And let's just see how it goes.
I think a real telling time is going to be that 6-month mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, summer. As soon as summer hits and people have other things to do, we'll see how the population does.
Well, it's going to be summer. Obviously, that's going to be a thing. What I think is also a big deal is just with what we've seen as gamers in the mobile space is that the customer service is really on point. All these changes, updates, and stuff are really quick. Exactly what players are asking for at the beginning stages. We need to see what happens in June. When June happens, are they still doing these quality of life changes like the clan login issue, things like this? Are they still on top of that? And are they still progressively adding new things instead of just new characters? I think we have both said this. Characters aren't content.
Yeah, that's true. And I've blasted these guys for their events. When I, like, especially during Christmas, I don't know if you knew, but their Christmas event was just go kill Penvid or go kill Aldry. Like, there's zero development. Like, these events should have new bosses, new mechanics. Yeah, well, so like this is dumb. This is slapping some metrics and saying go do something you're already doing. So the events are weak. They can put more development into their events, but I don't think they have a big enough staff. Here's another example of why people quit. So I just had a friend quit that I've been playing with games for years with. He quit because he kept losing the 50-50 on, like we've already discussed the 50-50 issue. He just couldn't get Bedivere. He's been trying for months. Couldn't ever get him. He's just like, you know what, screw this. They don't want to give him to me. They don't want to give me a way to get him, even when I'm trying to get him. I'm done playing. And he quit yesterday.
Damn. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I get it. It's obviously a Netmarble game, so there's that connotation to it. I've played Kabam a couple times, but every aspect I've had with Kabam has been pretty good, but they also don't talk, so you have nothing to really go off of. I think what I might want to lead into now is, first let's do like a palate cleanser. What are some of your favorite characters in the game? Either their strength, what they look like, what they do. Some of your favorite characters, 2 or 3 of them.
Favorite characters, obviously everybody should have Morgan on that list. She's a free hero. I don't know why they gave away the best hero in the game for free. That just makes no sense. Bedivere and Anya. Those are my top 3 heroes in the game.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Well, Morgan, because of everything Morgan does, every single relic has obscene mechanics. The base relic with the turn meter pushback is just, it's broken. Especially once you get Fire Sergius, you get those two going together, it's broken. Bedivere, he's just, they gave you his best relic off the rip. You get that leveled up, and you just mow through people. Like, the damage he does is insane. Like, they brought along Irurit, who they were touting as the next big damage dealer, but you needed so much setup with him to make him good, and now you see that they've had to bring in 2 Serpent's Favors to finally make him OP, whereas Bedivere by himself in any team just slaps really, really, really hard. And then there's Anya, who is a support, but even in her Frost Relic, if you get her up to C4, she's just, and you get her geared properly in a counter set, or 2 counter sets and an effect resistance set, we've all been annihilated by Anya when she's never even taken a turn. It's stupid, the things that she can do. And she's got so much offensive support capability.
Yeah, that S2 is also huge, right?
So I just finished story mode Hell 10-7, Cromcrotch. And my team was Guinevere, and then the 3 heroes I just listed off, Morgan, Bedivere, and Anya. And they were able to get that down in 30 turns. They're just that good. You need Guinevere for that fight. I don't. You need her for that fight because it's required to keep your team on the board. So,
and she becomes the target, yep.
Yeah.
For me, I think my favorite, just what they do, not even that they're the best or whatnot, is Clarison, specifically the ice one. And that is... Yeah. It's specifically because of this S3. And
yeah,
like
she can hit hard with that one.
She attacks, hits hard, gets 50% turn gauge back, and then with her passives, she does 2 extra hits, gives defense down and evasion down, and then resets the other 2 cooldowns. So you're just
Clarison. Yeah, like she was like kind of lot. People hated pulling her at first, and now when people are seeing what she does, they're just like, "Oh snap, she's actually really, really good."
I really love what she brings to the table. My second one is it's one character, but there's another one that has to be mentioned with her, and that's Rosier and Jonathan. Where's he at? Nicholas. And they are, in the story, they're really great together. Rosier, and any of the other 2, does a bunch of AoE dots. On the fire, she has a 3-hitter first skill and a 5-hitter third skill with the Hook of Death, which is just more bleeds. And then whenever someone does anything to Rosier, Nicholas has to get involved. And I really like that dynamic.
I've heard rumors, and I've had them confirmed, that you do need Nicholas in the 30s or 40s in Forbidden Dungeon.
I mean,
don't sleep on him.
His mechanic is kind of weird. The whole the veil is kind of weird. The stealth, because even if they're the only person alive, you still can't target them, which is such a weird mechanic. As far as my third one, this is still going to be a rare champion, and that's Cormac, Frost Cormac. Against big groups with the bear hunt.
Yeah, he's a beast. Boom. Yeah, Hulk smash is what I always say when I'm showing him off.
Honorable mention would I think we can both honorable mention Merlin. Especially that mass revive, the only one that brings that kind of thing to the game. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
One of my last topics is the new champion, and I think she brings some issues with her. Not so much her abilities or whatnot, but just what she poses to the future of the game, and that is, let me bring her up. The one I don't have is two things. One is her leadership. Does the same HP bonus that everyone does that has an HP bonus, but also has this serpent bonus. She also has a relic. I think it's wind. Yeah, wind only does the kind of a Holy Nova effect of AoE damage and AoE heal if they're serpent characters. As far as the healing aspect is the only thing locked behind serpents, but that's kind of important. Now, I think this. You see what I'm looking at as an issue here?
No, not yet.
Well, the issue is you're kind of forcing the team. One of the main things people want to do is they want to mix match and play with things that you wouldn't think work together and then make them work. I mean, one that Stu did a while ago, right? Uncommon, Dylarr, and Bulk.
Bulk. Yes.
That's one of the coolest things in the game, right? This kind of interaction.
And that kind of interaction, that's basically Sergius. It takes two heroes to do what Sergius does, right?
No, I get that. But Dylarr does a little bit more than what the whole Sergius thing. It ends up being, I think, 20% more if the boss does an AoE as well. But as far as the interaction is about the same as Sergius. But Dylarr also has the passive effect that when he gets two dots on two at the same time, then he does another 30%.
Yeah, I use Dylarr every day still. He's a cool dude. And now, see the shark guy in the middle of your screen? So, just yesterday, now at Clan Raid 30, you got 3 dragons. So people are having to use this guy to make 2 dragon teams.
That's hilarious.
And he's great. So don't sleep on him either. He's
that's
decent
hilarious.
with
There's a lot of uncommons that I like here. And then obviously almost every rare. I also really like Alan is a big boy trying to be a budget Morgan, a budget Fire Morgan.
Yeah, he's kind of a weak Cloudus. Like his S2 is the AoE. Yeah. So I used him, and you could use him. People struggle on Tarask. You can use him right up until stage 8 of Tarask, and it works just fine. He does exactly what Cloudus does. All you really need him for is that turn meter reduction.
I get that. But just I'm fine with maybe the leadership being the serpent only bonus. I'm fine with that. But when you start requiring certain things with the whole kit, then I see kind of I don't think she breaks it where she is right now. I think she's totally fine as is with the serpent bonus, because if you're not doing serpent, you just don't do wind. But I see an issue in the further development of other characters in the future. You see what I mean?
They're definitely going down that route. So Vivian has specific steed favor synergies. Gilroy has specific bull favor synergies. So I do eventually, that is where they're moving to, where they want the same factions to be used with each other.
There was a comment I was looking at earlier that let all of the I forget what they're called, these guys, all of these guys only buffed these guys, whatever the group they're called is.
The bull favor, I think.
No, not bull, but this group.
Oh.
They had a name for this group. Right here. The name's up top. Oh no, that's just what he's a part of. I'll find it, but go ahead and keep talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're going that way. And I had a little theory today that we see that with the current banner, the Nika banner, that it's a bunch of serpents and then Cloudus on that banner. So it's Sigrun, Iwerit, and Clarison. So my guess is that since Vivian was the next hero, that the next banner is going to be a steed favor unit that'll probably have kind of synergies with dots, because Vivian synergizes with Lancelot, and there they have all these dot mechanics. And I bet you it's going to be Lancelot, Vivian, etc. on that banner with her, and we can kind of piece together what they're doing and map it out into the future to see what kind of unit is coming next.
Assuming it follows the same cadence, which we've seen several things that do follow said cadence, right? One of the biggest things being the pass. Pass that you see, I don't have the Commander's Pass for a particular reason. Waiting for a gem consumption event.
And that's the second week of every season is the gem consumption event. So if you've missed it, you're not going to get it to come around again this season.
I missed it. That's fine. But this is just generally what you should be doing.
Yes.
And I think it's spaced out that way on purpose to make you spend that extra 2,000 on top of whatever you want to do for the event.
There's a reason why it's the second week. They want you to buy it the first week, and then damn, and then now you got to spend more crystals in that event anyway, which will run you dry for the upcoming banner. Like they do have the events kind of spaced out very methodically now, and you can map it out and see how they all fall into place.
Which is why I think what you're saying is correct as far as the banner system in the future. That kind of mapping that you've had so far probably is going to end up being true. We just have the serpent leader with serpent favor bonuses. We're probably going to have a steed lead with a steed bonus on at least one of the... I think it's only Nika's wind that has a serpent call out. But something's probably going to be hidden behind the next character's kit for a steed effect. Like with Nika, the fire that she comes with is still pretty good, right? It still does the AoE heal, AoE damage, and some buffs. The issue is the wind one does the same heal and damage, but has better buffs. But the heal only works on serpent.
Yeah, her whole kit is riddled. If you bring them in with serpent allies, regardless of the relic, they're still going to be given the bonuses. Like she's a great plug and play. She's a great plug and play, but she is broken with the serpent team. Like we see what they're doing.
And the whole, as long as this holds true with the 6 week being added to special summons, I think it's totally fine as is, even though it's pretty expensive to get them from here. If they fix the 50-50 system, I think the whole summon system is fine as is. What do you think?
I agree, but there's also issues. Is they're not fair with. Okay, so here's an odd thing. So if you watch Scratch's latest video, he has gotten this one pop-up offer that I have never gotten, and that's 20,000 crystals for $50.
I had that pop up yesterday.
I've never had that. That's something I'd buy, because if you look at what it costs for gems, it's $40 for 1,500 gems.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an insane thing for spenders. I've never seen it. I would be pulling on this banner all day.
And if you do the conversion, that's what, 120 something pulls?
A lot. It's a lot. It's and I don't know why it's random. So there's a lot of things they can tweak, and then the summoning system will be fair, in my opinion.
What I have noticed is they know what you just did, obviously, because if you complete a new stage of something, they'll do a pop-up for that stage.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's a couple packs that are just in the shop always. But if you just did something that either needs or this would help with, they'll put it in your face. Such as they have 2 monthly packs for stamina, and if you get down under, I think it's 20 or so energy, right in your face. Hey, you think you need some stamina? There's this.
Yeah, I'll give them a pass on that one.
That's fine.
They got to make their money. It's just they definitely know. And I'm wondering if certain packs are available to certain spending limits, because I don't really spend a lot of money in this game. I buy the daily perks, and then if a pack is under $10 Canadian, I'll look at it. So I haven't really spent a whole lot of money playing this game yet.
I think because we are talking a little bit about the packs, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I did find it pretty interesting that most of it is about 10 for 10, and that's really on point. As you see, 10, 10, and then the 21 is 2 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Canadian money will be a little bit different, but the special summons and the rate ups are considered the same, it seems, as far as money's concerned in the game. And a summon per dollar is about where they're at. Really, it's a little bit more, because if you count the crystals, then it's 12 and a half summons for 10.
So that first pack is just for suckers. Like through events and daily logins and stuff, you accrue special summons so quickly. You should never be spending money on special summons. They come in very, very quickly. Like all of a sudden I got 40 again, and I just blew through 120. It's the rate ups, or the rate up summons. Those are the ones where they get you.
Yep. I think if you can get something less than this, I've seen some $7 ones that came with 10 and some other stuff in it. I think if you are going to spend, that's obviously the best place to do it. With this most recent update, they've added a couple ones in the pop-up way at the bottom. I don't know if, right here, these. These, the elemental ones.
Oh, those are traps. I just watched Loki's video on it where he bought every one and didn't get a single relic that he needed.
That's funny.
Oh, it hurt to watch. It was really, really painful. Very, very painful. He was going for Iwarit Fire. Whoa, see that? I do not have that pack. I saw a video. I don't have that pack. I would buy that pack if they would give it to me.
One character.
Yeah, I heard on one of Loki's videos, just like, oh yeah, you can buy Iwarit now. I don't have that pack. I don't know why the game hates me specifically. Like, they don't want my $100, which is funny.
Now, these there's the $10 ones for the rares, and then there's 50 for the legendaries. How do you feel about this?
They know what people want. They know what people want, but this is strictly for people that don't have any patience, because I got my Frost Relic waiting from the exchange shop. You don't... So, I know why they put that in there, and I think, like, I didn't see the Merlin Fire one. The Merlin Fire is still up in my offers. I can understand why they have it on there, because people would be very tempted to go for that, because unless you have Merlin Fire, Tarask 10 it's a chore. It's a real chore. But once you get Merlin Fire, it makes Tarask 10 a minute-long fight.
I gotcha. Now the last thing, because we've been going on for a while, the last thing is we said our favorite characters, right? What about ones that you think just aren't there yet? You can see their potential. You see what they're going for. We're just not there yet.
That's easy. It's Gawain. Gawain is a Knight of the Round Table, and his kit hurts him. His my safe word of the day when I did his deep dive was self-nerf, because his passives make it so that he doesn't do what he needs to do. Like, his passives all around, he has to be day heat at the start of battle. But you can't. His ability changes it after he does his first move. So unless you go into a specific battle where it is already day heat, he's nerfed already. All of his kit is built around these weather mechanics, and if you want to use him, you can't really run him on auto, because you need to do his S2 and then his S3. Like, he's what I want is I want a person like him that has this huge giant great sword that just cleaves the hell out of people, but his kit is just done so poorly that he can't do anything, can't live up to his potential.
Now, with the whole weather mechanic stuff, obviously Morgan cares about night, but they also give you Torin, or whatever her name is, that makes it night for Morgan to do her stuff. Is there anything for Gawain?
So the issue is he needs day and heat. So yeah, that's the problem. And if you put him in against a Morgan or any Turin, all of a sudden, boom, his kit is broken. He just doesn't gain the buffs anymore.
I gotcha. For myself, where's she at? There's two. One is Sigrun. Now, obviously, she does her thing. And she's very good at that. I think it's the whole mark mechanic is the thing that I think is not there yet. What do you think?
So, Sigrun, mine is at C5, as yours is at C6. At C6, yeah, the mark mechanic is an anti-evasion mechanic. So when the game launched, Sigrun was made specifically for Yaskelhide Dragon, because the dragon, you can't control the turn meter. Yeah, and he dodges all day unless you have a way to negate the buffs from going on, clear the buffs, or you can bring in mark heroes that basically, through the application of marks, even it out. But then they brought in Iwerit, who does damage also based on marks. So if you can get Sigrun's wind weapon, since you're always spamming her S3, that's Akalan.
No, I got you. I was just reading something.
Yeah, so if you get her wind relic, then she becomes less of a mark hero, even though she still has mark in her kit. But her damage multipliers go way up. Like, you see level 3 attack plus 52. Actually, every line of that has attack plus 52. So she becomes a nuker on her S3 versus her kit is more based on the mark mechanic in her fire.
Which you also have
if you get her, you do, but the issue with Guinevere is you don't want to run her S3. You don't want to do it. That's the whole issue with her. Whereas Sigrun, you only want to do her S3 and then her S1. So the frost is a better version of the fire, and then the wind is one you can use everywhere. So once you get her to like C8, which is, difficult now with these new heroes that you want to put your memory stones into, but once you get her into her C8 and you put her in these serpent lineups that you can make now, even though the serpent team doesn't have a space for her anymore, she can still do good things. But I can understand what you're saying is that she's kind of, you want her to be cooler than she is.
Yep, that's exactly where I'm at with that. There's a bunch of uncommons that I want to see a little bit better on. One of the first ones they introduce you to and make you build up a little bit. Luke, I think he has a lot of stuff that he could do. It just has nothing to do with any of the rares that we currently have access to. And then there was one more that I wanted to talk about. I think it was this boy.
Yeah, he can do some nutty stuff once you get him maxed out.
Defense. Oh yeah, Sarah. And Sarah's great. Sarah is really great. Her ice does remove debuff. Wind removes debuff. But as far as being an actual, and obviously fire has the buffs and stuff like that. But as far as being an actual healer, she feels a little bit lackluster in the amount that she's healing.
Yeah. She is a healer second. She's an attack gauge buff disruptor first. So if you get to the point where you want to use her healing, you're already on your back foot. Sarah's built to just run her S1 because of her passive.
Because, like, if you look, Frost, heal, remove, debuff. Heal, remove, debuff. On 2 of her abilities. It's the same ability. Obviously, one's a little bit better, but you kind of want a little bit something else, right? You kind of want a little bit more as a support character.
Yeah, but that buff block is so huge.
Fire is fine. I am specifically wanting either wind or frost to be better.
Yeah, well, fire will work just fine in Tarask if you don't have Merlin Fire, because Merlin Fire and Sarah are the only units in the game that have attack gauge disruption debuff. So fire is good for Tarask if you don't have Merlin Fire, and then ice is excellent for Yaskelhaig, because then you can put that buff disruption on him and he can't give himself the buffs. Wait. But there's a mechanic. It's in her passive. So right there. So that, or is it that one? No, skip ahead. Go over to the next one. There it is right there. That is why Sarah's good. That's her whole kit.
This has nothing to do with the ice or the wind, though. You could get the same effect from the fire, right?
It does, but since she's a rare, if she gets hit by Tarask and you have her as ice, she's dead.
The elemental differences, I get it.
Yeah, if you bring her into Yaskelhaig as anything but ice, she's dead if she gets hit. So that's where the elemental those are where the elements come into play with her.
I gotcha. But as far as the actual abilities themselves, wind has a little bit something extra on the second skill, giving you that defense buff, but it's half the healing of what the conversion should be. So if they gave her something like, I think if Frost, because obviously ice and frost and wind are the healer type, right? The healer / cleansers. If ice gave some kind of immunity or a heal over time, anything, then I think I would like her a lot better where she's at. But what you said does make sense. Fire is obviously best in slot for most things, but with her being a rare, her passive does enough work that you don't really need to use any of her skills for the other elements.
And go into Chivalries and look at her Chivalry 8. So that is also... So she's got a lot in her kit. It's just hidden in there. It's not evident in the skills of the relics. But she gives Serpent's Favor attack.
I'm mad at Serpents.
Increased immunity. So Nika or not Nika, Ceres also has this in her kit. So Ceres coming in and Nika coming in have kind of made Sarah irrelevant, other than her buff disruption and her attack gauge disruption.
I'm mad at Serpents. Just
so Sarah's still good. She's got a little quirky things in her kit.
I just,
she's not a good healer.
it's funny because on my other account when I was progressing, I would bring a lot of 2 healer comps with Sarah and Isolde, and depending on what I'm looking for, I would use either Isolde S2 that does a bigger heal and a heal over time, and then Sarah basic, or I would flip it if I need the debuff removal for Sarah S2 to get rid of debuffs, and Isolde basic to put on bleeds, burns, whatnot. Those 2, I love them a lot for progressing.
Yeah, Sarah Turin is also, I used that for a while. Those were really good.
Yeah, they give you turn off. Turn just gives so many buffs. Just put the S2 on, let her do the heal over time. The heal is a little weak, but it does have a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah, there's so much in her kit. And then you switch her to her Fire Relic. Like, I just did a deep dive on Turin that's coming out tomorrow. Like, there's still Turins in the top 20 in PvP in the world. Just because of that evasion buff on her fire. It's just so good. It's broken. She's still my top rated rare in the game, Turin. And you get her for free day 1, which is crazy.
So we said our favorite characters. We said characters we would like to see some buffs to. Just one character that you think does better than... You kind of already said one just now. But a character that you think... does a lot more than what the general public knows.
Well, so I'd say, yeah, Turin. People sleep on her. Like, a lot of people are building up Nika, and then I say, well, don't not use Turin. Like, I got a spreadsheet of every Forbidden Dungeon hard team, or that I can find a screenshot of, and Turin's in a lot of those teams at endgame. Sarah's in a few as well. Tristan's in a few. Nicholas is in some higher level ones as well. Bodwin is in high level Forbidden Dungeon because of his S3.
Because of the S3, the shared
mechanic. Like, there are heroes. The only heroes that we haven't found really any use for the rares is Círdan and Gareth. And then, Nicholas. Well, now we're seeing some use for Nicholas, but we still haven't seen any use for Gareth or Círdan yet.
Círdan has a very interesting mechanic, the rope thing. There's a story mission where they make you use him, and it's pretty interesting, right? Like, every ability he has is some kind of CC. You have the bind where they don't get a turn. You have the freeze, and you have the stun on the basic, and it's scaling off of attack and HP on everything. So, like, the kit is there. It's just there's better options for what he's doing.
It's just dated now. When I first started playing and I was pre-launch, you could see Gareth in PvP. Now you don't see her anywhere.
I gotcha. Mine, I was just looking at him. Where's he at? That's the healer. I mean, initially when I was first reading characters, I was going to say anything with like some dots and stuff, but I think everyone kind of came around to the dot stuff, even in bosses that are resistant to dots, like Aldry takes 90% less damage, but if you're taking 5%, 90% less, it's still 0.5%. So, you know, you put enough dots on them, still going to die. Hey.
Yeah, the dots. And it's funny because the dot heroes, Lancelot, Anguish, those heroes are absolute money in Clan Boss 25 through 29. They do so much work. So much so that the developers had the foresight to know, and they made all of the bosses in stage 30, you can't land dots.
Thank God, because we needed something that you couldn't bring dots in.
Yeah, so you just got to power through.
Because Pig is immune during his shield, but you can kill the shield really quickly. Really, the three kind of things you can build and bring across the game is multi-hit, dots, and survivability. Those are the three types of characters that you can build and just do the game. Don't you think?
Yeah. So really at beginning to get through most content, all you really need is Bedivere, Morgan, Flame, Sergius, and Bedivere and Jillian. Those four heroes can beat pretty much the majority of the game.
The turn meter disruption, yep.
Yeah.
Man, I keep wanting to say it. Where's it at? Mine is the one that I said is also my favorite, and that's sorry. The one that I think is sneakily good that people are sleeping on. They may not have when it came out. I wasn't around at the time, but I see literally no one talking about her at all, and that's Claudis.
I don't like her at all.
I love we were just saying the not this one. Where's that? I think it's this one. Yeah, reduce attack gauge, and confusion.
Look, Claudis she's nerfed by her faction. So if you click on the little hound icon up top there, you see that hounds, they're based around defense abilities.
Which is weird because you see the line right above it.
Exactly. So I just did again, I have a video coming out on her this week. I said that she's an attacker that's really a controller. And then we have someone like Anya, who's a support that's really an attacker. And we have a few of those. Like Cormac is a tank that's really an attacker. So all of her stuff, you need her built. The thing with Claudis is she's all around attack gauge disruption, but you need effect accuracy to land that. So, but you kind of want her to attack as well, and and I don't like kits where it's if
she's
this,
confused.
then this. Like, so her whole passives are if an ally goes, you got a 60% to get this buff, and then when you get this buff, then your next passive works. I don't like heroes that are pigeonholed into that. I like heroes where everything is at the start of battle, which is all of Nika's passives.
Yeah, I get it. I just we were saying that the turn disruption is very important. Obviously, there's some better options like Morgan, and everyone gets Morgan for free. So,
well, Claudis makes Taras 10 possible if you don't have Flame Merlin. So
because this S2 is
yes.
money.
Yeah, that is absolute money.
Speed up your team. Speed down twice on the enemy.
Give her more, buff her attack, make her do more damage. It'll change all of her issues. The thing is she does such little damage because you can't gear her for a straight attacker because it's funny, you want her to do her P2, but all of her passives is her P1 and her P3. It doesn't help out her P2.
We talked about this before the thing, right? This co-op attack. If it worked both ways. I mean, there's no one really here that you would want to like. Alan is fine, I guess. But Claudis Alan, if you used Alan and then Claudis followed up with S1 with the attack gauge disruption.
Because her S1 can loop too. It's a chance, but you can just keep looping it because it can give 100% turn meter. So yes, you're right. If they shared co-op and then he called her in, you could do some really nutty things.
And then she uses her S2 on her actual turn, and then Alan calls her in to do S1. You can do some really nutty stuff.
Yeah, because then you could put Alan lead because he's got a good leadership to Taras. You could put him lead. You could put Claudis. Then you could put Morgan, and you could put Sarah fire. There's your team. But,
done.
Yeah, done.
Oh man, I like co-op. It could be a lot better if it was both ways. The whole story reasons.
Well, then like Guinevere, she has co-op up attack. That's the only character in the game that has co-op up attack in her kit. And
oh yeah, it makes co-op better. Yep.
Yeah, but it's Lancelot and Arthur, and Arthur's S1 does nothing. Whereas if Arthur called in her, then she could put attack down on the enemy.
Damage dealt.
Right, so they could make some synergies that way.
The Lancelot's pretty good though.
It's great.
A bleed or whatever.
His S3 is great. Yeah, his S3 is awesome. Like I slept on Lancelot, and now he's, especially if you have frost and fire. Oh, that frost Lancelot's money. Way better than Merlin for control.
I made a the other day before this whole account situation happened. I was thinking, hey, I want to do some videos on my account, but then there's obviously going to be new players and stuff. How am I going to show them what to do? Is on the side, I'm not doing a lot of it. Like, I'm not 100% on it all day, but I have a secondary account that's strict free-to-play, and I even re-rolled it so I didn't have any legends besides the ones they give you. And it's monstrously killing everything. The team, literally right now, I'm doing everything with, is Lancelot, Morgan, and Lancelot, Morgan, Sarah, Isolde.
I recommend you check out Loki Magic's video. He can clear all PvE content with just Lancelot and Rosie. All of it. Like, if you've seen the trophy system that they added, you see how, like, Gorgos, it's one man, the winning team is a one-man Lancelot team? It's silly.
Yep, right there. 3 turns, 49 seconds.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, the second person is throwing some shade, though. Loki is not even using the leadership.
Yeah, no, he is the Kraken in this game, and he's got good content.
That's hilarious. All right, man. We've been just going because we haven't talked about the game at all yet. Just you and me, and I think we can literally just do this literally all night. And, but I think this was very good. I think it's important to talk about these topics that people kind of know about. People leaving, people coming, stuff like that. But no one really talks about it. And I think it was good to have this conversation. Some characters we looked at I think were very important. Some really fun ones. Let us know down below what are some of your favorite characters, ones that people are sleeping on, and ones that should be buffed in the future. And I know you do it with all of your videos. You want to give them a safe word?
Oh, what haven't I used on my frickin' shelf yet? How about degree, since I don't use my degree? How about that one?
All right, so put degree in front of your message so we know you watched to the end of the video for, I think this is at least an hour and a half, something like that. But I'll try to edit it down a little bit. But all right, Dylarr, it was great to have you on, man.
All right, man. Good times.
See you.